This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 482 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products and Total Saddle Fit, in cooperation with the USDF. This is Glenn McGee, producer of the Dressage Radio Show. Reese and Phillip are off this week, and with the WEG coming up in just a few days, the Para Riders will be back in the spotlight again. Samantha Clark, host of the 2018 WEG Show, and I met up in person with many of the Para Riders back in January in Wellington. It was an inspirational night, and I thought I would play it for you here on the Dressage Show for the first time. I hope some of you get to see the Para Riders in the WEG in a couple of weeks. Reese and Phillip will be back next week. Right after this word from Total Saddle Fit, we bring you an evening with the Paras. Total Saddle Fit, the shoulder relief girth that Reese and Phillip both love. And here's why.
The saddle fit solution you have been waiting for is finally here. TotalSaddleFit.com is proud to introduce the shoulder relief girth. This strategically shaped girth actually moves the girth line of your saddle back over 1 inch, thereby freeing your horse's shoulders from the saddle. Traditional girths pull saddles up against a horse's shoulders and often over the top of the shoulders. The shoulder relief girth's recessed ends allow for the billets to buckle into the girth farther back to give your horse unparalleled freedom of motion. We are so certain that your saddle will fit better and your horse will be more comfortable that for a limited time we are offering a 30-day, 110% money-back guarantee. If you are not totally satisfied with your shoulder relief girth, send it back for a full refund plus 10% of the purchase price. Don't wait. Order now for the best saddle fit solution available.
At TotalSaddleFit.com. Visit TotalSaddleFit.com. This is episode 24, a special episode of the 2018 WEG Show on the Horse Radio Network for January 23rd, 2018. This episode is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, Horseware, and Bates Saddles. Samantha and I attended the U.S. Para Team Dinner in Wellington and recorded this special episode with many members of the U.S. Para Team and organization. What an amazing, inspiring group. I think you're going to enjoy hearing from these incredible athletes, coaches, and team members. Listen in.
Welcome to the 2018 WEG Show, your home for all the news and views of the 2018 World Equestrian Games.
Well, we're so excited to find another co-host in one of the Horse Radio Network shows here, Reese Koffler-Stanfield of the Dressage Show.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to be here.
It's good to be in person, the three of us together.
I know.
That never happens.
It's kind of awkward. I'm not in my room in my yoga pants. I'm not going to lie.
And we all had to go to Wellington to do it.
I know. It's nice to be here for everybody. It's a fun night tonight.
Reese, tell us a little bit. You're here because you actually have a role in para dressage, don't you?
I do have a role. I am a member of the High Performance Dressage Committee through USEF. So I'm here to meet a lot of the athletes. We do a lot of work on paper, but it's nice to actually get out and see the riders and meet all their team and their family. And it's really special to be here tonight.
And it's fun, like you on your show, it's fun for Samantha and I we interview people all the time and never meet them.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah. It's such a fun thing to be like, oh, I'm Reese from the radio show. And they say, oh my gosh, it's nice to meet you in person. So it's really fun to see everybody. And when you risk someone, you really learn about the horses and who they are and the people they are. So it's pretty neat.
And you're down here now for the winter. Will you get a chance to watch some of the riders at the show next weekend?
I hope so. That's the beauty of being in Wellington is, you have your horses to work and then there's a horse show every day pretty much. So next week is a CPED and here in Wellington, they actually had one last week, a week off this week. Everyone needed a week off and one next week. So it's another selection show. It's an important show for everyone. So it'll be fun to see everyone out there.
So, of course, for anyone who thinks all you do is sit around in yoga pants and just co-host the dressage show, you wear a lot of hats.
I do. I wear a lot of hats, but that's the fun part about what I get to do and the people I get to meet. So, no, actually, I really like sitting in my yoga pants, but it happens maybe when I do the show, and that's about it.
And we're hoping to see Reese actually in the WEG on the dressage team in...
Well, we won't be ready in Tryon, but I work hard every day to have that special horse.
Do. And I
really
think
do.
You got one coming up.
I have one coming up. We'll see how he does. He's in doing the developing Grand Prix now, so we got a couple more years, but that's the plan, and
Good.
a few more coming up.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right.
Well, you guys have a great
Olympics
night.
or WEG, we don't care. We're rooting for
I
you.
don't care either.
Right.
I am not picky. I'm not picky. I just want to wear. I want to wear the U.S. Flag for sure. So, but that's what everyone here wants to do as well. So,
and if you haven't yet, head over to dressageradioshow.com and check it out. It's also on our app at the Horse Radio Network, and they have been doing that show for 5-6 years now. So
yeah, we're about 5.5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm still in my 3-month interview, which is the joke.
And
the
they
show.
make dressage super fun. It's a fun show. It really is.
We try every
you guys
week.
do.
So,
All right.
yeah,
Thank
you guys
Reese.
have a great night.
All right. This Nutrition Minute is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, the company that simplifies your search for research-proven nutritional supplements at kppusa.com.
The horse that matters to you matters to Kentucky Performance Products. Managing horses can be challenging. Each horse's personality affects the way he behaves and reacts to the world around him. Horses with certain dispositions can be at higher risk for developing health problems than others. High-strung or excitable horses are easily stressed, but so is the timid, quiet warrior. Stressed horses are more likely to develop digestive upsets that lead to colic, diarrhea, and ulcers. Nalox Advanced was specifically developed to support a digestive tract that is under stress. It sustains proper pH levels, reducing the incidence of ulcers and hindgut imbalances, while simultaneously supporting the healing of damaged tissues. Nalox Advanced supports the complete digestion of starches and sugars and sustains populations of beneficial bacteria. Make life a little easier on your sensitive horse and start him on Nalox Advanced today. To learn more about the ingredients in Nalox Advanced, visit Kentucky Performance Products at kppusa.com.
And we first caught up with Michelle Osseline, who is the head of Para-Equestrian Coach Development.
Michelle, you are the. What is your official title with the?
Oh, it's a long one. Even I don't remember the whole title. It's high performance head of coach development and head of Para-Equestrian.
Did a committee put that one together?
Basically, you're in charge of training and coaching the.
Well, there's two things. I'm there to put a new coaching program together with a curriculum and eventually, something going towards some sort of qualification. It's early days, but also there as a consultant, high performance consultant, to bring basically the whole program of Para-Equestrian program on the world stage. I've been head coach for the British team for 12 years. We've had unrelented success all these years. So hopefully, with my skills and experience, I will try to bring these guys, up and above everybody else in due course. So.
How different is it with America being such an enormous country and much greener in the world of para? How different is it to apply those skills, and what are the strengths and weaknesses, do you think, for US?
It's I think the biggest challenge is definitely the size of the country, because everybody is so spread out. And because it's early days, there aren't many riders yet. I think we probably have 20, 25. We're abroad, not just in England, but even in other European countries, there's much more depth. So it's actually easier. More depth, more riders, smaller countries. You could imagine it's just easier to manage. Here it's the other way around. We have less riders and the country is about, 20 times as big. So it's a huge challenge. But not to forget, in this country, there is great equestrian legacy in all sectors, whether it's dressage, show jumping, the eventing. The country is really strong. So I believe that with the equestrian background and existing knowledge, it's still gonna be possible to develop that concept. It will work. I mean, Para-Equestrian dressage is dressage. I mean, it's dressage for riders with disability, but, it's no different than dressage is. And I can see that, with what we have to work with, it will work. It's just a matter of time and strong efforts to put it all together, basically.
And I've had a chance to speak to a couple of the riders tonight, and this is your second year, and they said already that the improvement that they've noticed since you've been here has been enormous, and they're really enjoying working with you. And
that's good to hear. Yes, I can see it too. It's second year, it's even less than that because I started in May, so it's not that long. It's half a year, more or less. But I can see in the, if looking at the results at the last two competitions, the scores have gone higher for many riders, which is great. I feel too there's a greater sense of unity. I think that the riders are also getting more together. There's more, how do you call it in English? They're just sticking together more, and which makes the velocity and the drive forward more effective because they're as a group they're stronger now. Where before you felt they were all doing their own thing in separate directions, and that's never good for a team. So now it's it's a group effort, and they sort of learn from one another. If one is getting better, they sort of tip one each other, and then that other person improves as well. It's a great thing to see how it's going forward in the right direction. Yeah.
Horses have always been a challenge, the right horses. And I'm sure it still is. It's something you deal with all the time.
Yes. I think, not just in pie question, but, in any.
Yeah. Para, it seemed to stand out a little bit. Yeah.
To a degree, I think the biggest challenge is if you want to be competitive, you just need a horse that is, near perfect for the job, basically, because, you're only as good as your horse is. Whether you're a power rider or an able-bodied rider, if your horse is not good enough, you're not going to make it. You just can't do miracles. It's a performance related sport, not just for humans but for equines. And you could be a top, human athlete, but with a horse that is more moderate in terms of scope and ability, it's just not going to happen. You can't do miracles. So you need an athlete in terms of equine standards as well, and that's the biggest challenge: is to find a horse that is as good as what is required to get into achieving medal winning standards.
Yeah, and those horses are expensive.
Everything's expensive in life.
And horses especially.
Yeah, horses. If you want a fast car as well, if you need a good car, it's expensive.
That's true.
And if you want to win the race or the Formula One race, you can't do that with an old banger that's just going 20 miles an hour. You need a fast car that's got, a lot underneath the bonnet. And it's the same with horses. They're just bred for the job, and people know what they have, and breeders know what they have. If they have a top horse that is a well-bred horse, is always an expensive horse because the stud fees are very expensive. Top broodmare is an expensive horse as well. So, it's going to be expensive to have a top horse. Absolutely. Just as it's expensive to buy a top car that's going to go fast and win your race.
Mm. And you're going to travel around the country training the different riders at their bases a little bit, or overseeing them?
Yes. I've been doing that already. I just go from, coast to coast and try to raise the bar, east and west. But also I've put up a new online judging program for the riders, and that's just to give them a chance to establish their standards and know where they are without having to travel too much, because you've got riders that are out on the West Coast or in the Midwest, and some of them are just not exposed to anybody to see what they're doing is worth. So by competing online and being judged by a European judge, for instance, with a current standard of judging, then those riders will know what their test is worth. So that means they don't have to travel. They can do a test online. And with the mark they receive from those judges, then they'll know what the improvement is in terms of, what do they have to do to move, let's say, from 65 to 70%. Whereas before, they had no idea. They would do a little bit of dressage with local judges, but it just wasn't realistic. So now they know exactly where they stand, and they can have a good strategy in place and a target, knowing what they have received from those judges.
What more do we have to do to sort of raise exposure about para riders in America, do you think? And is that part of something that you're trying to do?
Yes, I mean, it's to expose the sport more. You need it's a difficult one, because you need to have exposure. You need to have success first. If you take standard of European countries, they've been televised quite a lot in the last few years, and going through social media and the press as well. But that's because they've had the results. If you are in a country where the results are not there yet, nobody's going to want to buy your sport and put it on the media stage. That's the problem. It's actually hard, because how do you succeed? You got to succeed first to be recognized.
It's almost a catch-22 that
Yeah,
way.
it's a catch-22, absolutely. So let's get some results and some medals, and then you'll have the media on your backside.
Hope
no
is
time.
all for what you just said there, by the way. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck
problem.
this year.
Thank you very much.
We
Yes,
appreciate
pleasure.
you.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Pleasure.
at the WEG.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And next, we caught up with para riders Pam Harden, whose video you've probably all seen, and we'll talk a little bit about that, and also Ellie Bermer.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk to you, Pam. I think Hope told us you're approaching YouTube infamy, I think. Not for the way you wanted it to be, but you actually you wrote a very interesting introduction to your YouTube video. You said that the first day you rode your test, you didn't make the marker at sea, and the second your horse made sure you made it because he dumped you right on it. Do you want to explain?
No, actually, he didn't. That's unfair. He
Oh,
did
I'm
not
sorry.
dump me. I chose to go off at sea. I
A
knew
voluntary dismount.
It was a tuck and roll voluntary dismount. I knew I had to get off, and so if you slow down the video, I've approached it many different times, as you might imagine. I've
I
seen
bet.
it a few times.
Did
and
you know you might not fall off?
like, yes,
Yeah.
like where could I have
Different
changed
ends
it?
of
What could I have done to make it different? And if you notice, when he does make the turn, it's almost as if he were doing a canter pirouette turn, which I was not prepared for, because we were supposed to go straight on this short side. And so I got kind of thrown on his neck because one of my main disabilities is the left. I knew if I was on the right side of the horse, I had to throw my body to the left, because if I was going to hurt anything, it better be the left. I can't break the right, or someone has to live with me and dress me. So I threw you can see in the video, about halfway, I finally get my legs underneath me, and I try to push up, but then he hits that 8th gear and he's just gone. And then I realized, okay, now it's time for me to choose. And I knew that letter C was I know the letters were plastic. My problem was I didn't want to hit the judge's box, which is wood. So I was very careful. But believe me, I aimed for that. But my golly, who would have thought I would have hit it like that? I mean, it's shattered. I tucked and rolled. Surprisingly, I rode the next day. I walked and trotted the next day.
So the letter itself didn't do any injury either?
No. I have some residual swelling. Went to a massage therapist today. I had, strangely, my right leg, which I didn't think I hit at all, was swelled up the first day, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not even going to be able to ride. And then I woke up the next morning, fine.
I mean, all joking aside, it was pretty terrifying to
It was
watch.
terrifying, of course, but it is something that happens in every discipline. It's going to happen whether you are able-bodied, because I ride able-bodied classes. It happens in jumpers. It happens in eventing. It happens in carriage drivers, as you said.
Yeah.
It happens everywhere, and we are athletes. It's going to happen to us as well. And that's what I want people, the support, international support I have had, 99% of it has been so positive. Yes, I did this last week, or, oh my gosh, I have a daughter. What I've seen also is I have a daughter. She's always wanted to ride, and I've always been afraid to let her ride until how you took this, and now she's starting lessons.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it just proves your character, your attitude, your bravery, and, I think we commend you. I think
It's not just mine. Anyone out here, any para, it's a huge leap of faith, and you only do it because you love it. Because we were little girls or boys who loved it as little girls or boys, whether we were disabled as children or disabled later in life, you don't want to give that up. And you still have that dream. And every time I get on a horse is the time I feel like everybody else. Every time. Still. I'm almost 60.
What made your horse spook? Do you know?
I don't.
Oh, God.
I know that 4 other horses spooked in the same area. Of course,
Usually
everybody
it's
was
the
warned
stupid thing
a
that
little
makes it
bit.
spook.
Yeah, everybody was warned a little bit because obviously I took the bad spill.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's never done it before. I have owned him for 2.5 years. Never been off his back. I haven't been off a horse in 4 or 5 years, and that was definitely my Arabian.
Welcome to the world of
First
horses,
time for
right?
everything.
Yeah.
Well, I have been off many horses. Arabians, it's why I knew the tuck and roll. It's why I knew how to do that, because Arabians are just, well, Girl Scouts taught me how to do that, but Arabians really,
Has anybody in
finessed
Hollywood
it.
from the stunt world called you? New job.
Maybe should
New
have.
job.
Maybe should have.
We're glad you're okay. We're glad the horse is okay.
I'm going to show
Everybody's
tomorrow
Good.
Good luck.
On the
you.
same horse?
on the same horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different arena?
It is a different arena
Oh, good.
just because it's the national show.
Good.
I'm showing the national show this weekend, and we are. My coach, Melanie Mitchell, she and I talked about it, and said, we just want this weekend to be fun. So I'm going to ride him more relaxed instead of. I have 3 loops on my rein, so I'm going to ride him a little more, just more relaxed,
Yeah.
and just have fun for the weekend. And then next weekend we'll have the international para tests and WEG qualifiers.
Well, good
Well,
luck with it.
Good luck
Yeah.
and well done.
And you might hit 100,000 views by the time this is done.
I have hit 500,000.
Is it 500
It is
now?
I
over
told you, she's an internet
500,000.
sensation.
I didn't know it was 500,000.
It's over 500,000.
Wow.
I've had over 4,000 shares.
She might be on Ellen next time. We do.
Ellen does like doing those stories.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel likes this too.
Yeah.
So any shout out to anybody
Yeah,
out there?
we'll just throw it out into the world and see what
Anytime
happens.
we can, I'm telling you, anytime we can talk about para, I think a conversation about para is important, and is the only way we're going to grow this sport.
Well, we just
truly.
spoke to Michelle Asseline, obviously, and he was saying, the best way to get exposure is to win medals. But I mean, that's not exactly what we're talking about. But anytime we can talk about it, that's
Any
good.
exposure is
It
good
is.
exposure.
It is, and I believe we are heading towards a medal. So I'm with him. I think everything is heading in that general direction, and I want to do anything I can possibly do to do that.
Well, let's not do that again. Let's try a different route. Okay?
No,
All right,
no,
all right.
we don't want to ever do that again. I can tell you that is not something what do they say? Don't do that.
Yeah.
This was done by
Once
stunt
is enough.
doubles. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Pam. We appreciate
you.
it.
Let's bring Ellie in. Ellie, you're sitting
Yes.
here quietly. Tell us a little bit about your horse and what you're riding in. And
Yes, well, it's kind of been a season of sorry, my frog in my throat. It's kind of been a little season of change for me because my horse, who's been my my good international horse for 3 years, unfortunately has been recovering from an injury that has taken longer than anticipated. So he was in rehab in Ocala all summer, so I was doing the 4-hour drive once a week to check on him.
Because you live here in Wellington.
I live here in Wellington, yeah. And so I was listening to a lot of books on tape and things like that. So my Aunt Karen, who is very kind, loaned me she gave me her mare, Jenny, Argentina, who has a really interesting history to her. She was originally bought at the Hanoverian auction in Verdun by Perry Thomas, who was Debbie McDonald's longtime sponsor, as a prospective Olympic horse for Adrian Lyle. And so she is a wonderful horse, a beautiful mover, but in terms of the FEI Grand Prix, she never quite got the collection for the canter. She's a little bit long in the back. And so then her second career was they bred her. She had one baby, and then she had a uterine infection, so they did not breed her again. And so then my Aunt Karen wanted to get into dressage, so Adrian was like, why don't we pull Jenny out of the pasture, and we'll make her an amateur dressage horse. And so Karen rode her through third level, and then that was kind of Jenny's max. And then they were going to retire her, so she went out to the ranch in Montana for 7 months. And then I was still rehabbing this injury from Louie. And Karen was like, oh, well, we've got all these horses coming from River Grove to Wellington. They've chartered a plane. There's an extra spot on the plane. Why don't we send you Jenny? And I was like, oh, okay.
I'll take that one.
Yeah, sure. And so we've been together for about 2 months, and she is loving the para life. I got my massage therapist who speaks to her in a nice French accent and gives her peppermints, and she really likes the pressure. I'm currently a grade 4, which is Pam's grade, and I'm looking at next week. I've got the classifiers looking at me, possibly dropping me down a grade to the grade 3.
Why are you a grade 4?
So grade 4 is mild multi-limb impairment. I have cerebral palsy that affects my left side, and also a little core involvement. So I have a weak left leg, a weak left arm, poor coordination, a little bit involving the right side too.
So what do you do to compensate for that? Because dressage is all about balance and getting that balance. So
it's a constant battle. So I do have some small adaptive equipment, like I have magnetic stirrups on tight. So I don't have to put a ton of weight in my stirrups, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then you also, like on the left side, I use an offset spur because I can't turn that ankle. And then if I have a double bridle, I'll use a converter rein. So I have a single rein. The Jenny, I've been doing her in the snaffle. In the para, we can go in either the double or the snaffle. So it's nice to have both options in the FEI. I know a lot of people would like that for the able-bodied FEI group too. And so with her, I've only had her for 2 months, and she was retired on the ranch for 7 months. So we've been getting her back into shape, and I've been learning these new tests with hopes of being reclassified. And but she, like I said, she was bought as an Olympic prospect, so she's a beautiful mover, and she has a lot of potential to be a really good para horse for the United States, which of course I'm really excited about. So we're taking our time with her, developing her a little bit, and hopefully, if we can't make it out for WEG, we'll make it out for 2020. But it's been an interesting season of change, so it's been good.
How long does it take Jenny to adapt to your aids and your?
Jenny is a chestnut mare. And
enough said.
Yeah, there you go. That answered that question.
And she's actually decided she really likes the program, and so Jenny's made this decision, and so she's agreed that para is a good thing for her.
So she's
if Jenny disagreed, I don't know how this would work.
And then, so when your horse is rehabbed, you'll have 2 horses?
Hopefully, yeah. We'll see. It's been a tough go of it with him. He had a meniscus tear and also bilateral suspensory issues as well. And so it's been a tricky, long road for him, but he keeps making gradual improvement. And as long as he keeps making small improvements, I'll keep working with him. He'll tell us if he's not going to be back. So, it's really nice to take the pressure off any kind of timeline with him.
Well, good luck with the mare.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be following.
Wonderful. Great to talk to you guys.
All right, thanks, Ellie.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Equestrians at every level aspire to create the ultimate harmony between horse and rider, and Bates saddles are here to help you achieve that harmony. That's why Bates offer highly specialized saddles for every discipline, engineered to bring out the best in you and your horse. The Bates Dressage range will raise your expectations forever. Beneath the traditional lines and elegant appearance, the Bates Dressage saddles deliver modern innovations for horse comfort and performance. The new Bates Dressage Plus and Bates Mono Plus feature luxurious, grippy, double-lined leather and adjustable ergonomic stirrup bars for effortless rider alignment and increased support of your optimal dressage position. The time-tested Bates Isabel continues to give riders a unique deep seat, sitting you in a central and balanced position, in addition to the Care Cushion System and Easy Change Fit solution found throughout the Bates range of saddles. Revolutionize your riding experience and fulfill your true potential in Bates Dressage saddles. For more information, visit BatesSaddles.com. That's Bates, B-A-T-E-S, saddles.com. So we have a couple of young riders that are joining us here tonight at this event in Wellington, and we have Riley Garrett with us. How old are you now? You're 17.
I'm 17, yes.
And how long have you been riding?
I've been riding for probably 6 years.
6 years?
Yes.
All in para or able-bodied as well?
I was training as an able-bodied rider, and then Hope here interviewed me and got me introduced to the whole world of para.
Hope does that.
Yes.
That's what she does.
She
Yeah.
recruits
She
people.
recruits.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So when I was 13, I went to my first CDI and sat down in the judge's box with Christy and watched and timed the freestyles, and that's how I fell in love with para.
And why are you para?
I have muscular dystrophy, Bethlehem myopathy,
Okay.
and I was born with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that unusual, by the way?
It can be.
Yeah.
Because my brother, my sister, and I all have it, which shouldn't always happen, but because it did, it is rare.
Do they ride?
No, they don't. No. Just me.
But they're big fans.
Yes.
Now, you've ridden the Tryon, right?
I have, yes.
So is that something you're aiming for again here?
I am, yes. It was so much fun. I mean, the experience was great. I loved it. I didn't have big expectations for any of it, and the outcome was amazing, and I would do it all over again.
Tell us about your pony.
So Piston.
Piston.
Wait, what was
Piston.
the outcome? You said the outcome. What
The
was
outcome. Well, I ended up doing well. I got
You can boast.
Yeah, go ahead.
so
You're allowed to
I
brag.
got second place the first day, second place the second day, and first place the third day.
That's
And
fantastic.
She's an underachiever, obviously.
I won.
She's just
I
too modest.
won
That's fantastic.
fifth overall in the entire competition, and I won the Sportsmanship of the Year award.
Oh, Riley, that's
Thank
the
you.
best award to win, I think.
I was
Good
so
for you.
I was so shocked, but I was so proud of myself for
Good.
showing that, and that everybody did see that. So.
Yes. Okay, now you can tell us about Piston.
Okay, so
Great name, by the way.
Piston.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. I've had him for almost a year. I got him March of last year. So we've been doing really well together, and he's my first horse. So it's new to me. It's new to him. He used to belong to a working student, so the whole kid thing is new to him, but he loves the attention. So it's
Aw.
good. And competing, he loves it. He loves having attention on him, and he struts his stuff, you know.
And what grade are you?
I'm a grade 3.
3.
Yes. Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, Glenn, when you said we have young riders, you weren't exaggerating. Our second guest, David, you at the moment can't even compete at WEG because you're not old enough, but you turned 16 in July, so you'll just scrape through. Am I right?
That's correct, yes.
Come right up
Tell
here.
us why you want to try and compete at the WEG in Para Riders.
Well, I haven't been riding para for that long, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting out there and working with my trainer to eventually get to the next Paralympics. So, and WEG is a solid stepping stone towards that.
And you're down here in Wellington. Are you competing in the two shows this weekend?
I'm actually not competing this weekend, but my first international competition will be at Global next week.
That'll be your first international.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about your horse.
So currently I'm riding Susanna Hamilton's, my trainer's Grand Prix horse, Lord Loxley, who normally competes Grand Prix, but he's switching it up a bit and doing Grade 1 para.
Why does Lord Loxley sound familiar?
He's a breeding stallion. He's quite famous. He's a great horse.
Wow. So you're riding a breeding stallion. That's incredible. How does he, is he well behaved? Is he stallion-y? Or?
He's an absolute angel, and although he might look at the mares a little bit, it's nothing to worry about. He's a great horse.
And why are you a grade
You
1?
sound like a seasoned campaigner.
Yeah, she does. He
You don't
does.
sound
Yeah,
like a
he does.
16-year-old.
So why are you grade 1?
So I have severe scoliosis, and then I also have a severe deformity in both my left and right arm. In my left arm, I'm missing my radial bone, and my thumb never grew. So this entire arm's very weak. And then I'm also missing several muscles in my right hand, and the bones are fused at my elbow and
What do
wrist.
you have to do to compensate? Because that's quite a bit.
It is. So I ride with loop rings, which helps with the gripping portion, and then I have to work out a lot to keep the strength in my shoulders, which hasn't worked out very well because I lack a lot of stability there, which is another reason why I'm a grade 1. So I couldn't hold a very heavy contact.
Okay, David. Now, Riley's over there bragging about all of her achievements there at that show. And when do you have time? You're in college.
I'm not actually.
You're not?
I'm a high school student, but I do take some college classes.
Okay, so you're a high school student with a full boat there, take college classes, and you're riding. When do you have time to do all this?
Whenever vintages allow me. So currently I'm getting by with about a month off here in Wellington to compete for WEG qualifying for the CPDI, and I'm very thankful for that, but it's quite a lot to manage.
What is the age for
Imagine
WEG,
when
by
you
the
go
way?
back
Is it
to school
16?
though and tell everyone you ride this amazing stallion at horse shows.
Yeah.
They must be like, you are the...
I've got lots of pictures.
But I'm not allowed to say
Yeah.
that.
and what is the age? Is it six for WEG? Is it 16?
Right?
Yep,
Yeah.
so just barely make it.
Oh, I actually thought it was older than that, but we're glad you're going to be really making it. So
I
that'd
am
be
too.
great.
We'll
That'd
be
be
rooting
terrific.
for you. And what a great story.
Yeah, it is a great story. Both great stories. So we hope to see you both
Yes.
at
Keep
Tryon.
up the great work. And thanks
Thank
for coming
you.
to talk
Thank
to
you.
us.
Thank you. Well, we're at this event in Wellington. We're also talking a little bit about para driving, and there are a lot of competitors around the world that do para driving and para dressage, both, and para riding, dressage. And Megan Benge is one of those that we've had on our driving show 1,000 times over the years, it seems like. And now you're here riding. You're riding. You're doing ridden dressage at this point. Why the conversion? Why the changeover?
No specific reason, just something else to do, I guess, to see how far I could go. It is my driving pony that I'm riding, so just a special pony.
How long have you driven?
Oh my gosh. I think I started showing in 1998 driving. So,
And you've done CDEs as well as para dressage or para driving?
Yeah, in this country there is no para driving. Like you have compete in regular shows, and I competed single. I competed our pony stallion up to advanced level, and then I switched to pairs. And my riding pony is actually part of my pony pair that I've competed advanced for a couple of years.
And Megan's being a little humble. She is very well known in the driving world. So,
Probably more infamous than anything else.
Well, we spoke to our spotlight driver, Paul May, and he was telling us about when he's doing the dressage in the driving and how complicated it is with all the reins and the whips and the signals. And I was flabbergasted about how complicated it is. How much crossover is there and helpful is it for you from your driving background to now riding dressage?
or is it more the other way?
I think both of them have strong points, and driving is kind of nice because when you're sitting behind them, you can actually see what their body is doing. Like, when someone says to me, oh, your pony's going out at shoulder. Well, when you're sitting behind it, you can really see what they mean. Sometimes, it's a little harder to feel that. But the contact and like your aids and stuff are completely different riding because you have your seat and legs or not, as some of the case might be, but yeah.
And all these years that you've been driving, have you been riding at all or not?
I actually started out riding when I was about 6 maybe, and I did like therapeutic riding and then got my own pony, and then I had back surgery and most of my spine is fused. And actually my mom got us into driving because she had that pony trained to drive. And it just kind of went from there. We still have that pony. He's 28 this year. So, I don't know. I kind of did the para worlds. And after that was kind of switched to a pony pair and kind of was feeling I don't know, I wanted to try something different. And my one pony I had started riding to help her with the driving. And she was just really great at it. Just in a good size for me, but also instead of being a little pony mover, she's actually a dressage suitable. So
Why are you a para?
well, I'm 4 feet tall. I have pseudoachondroplasia.
What grade does that put you?
I'm actually kind of I don't know what the word is, but dwarfism is usually grade 4, but I'm actually under another profile because of my back surgery and my hips and stuff. So I'm in grade 3.
Yeah. I thought that would add to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And my grading was a whole ordeal.
So do you? It's a pony, actually a pony that you ride now.
Yeah, she's 13 too.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
And cute as a Dickens movie.
Yeah, we kind of are our own. I don't know, our own march toward and beat, I guess. Out with all the warm bloods,
Most
my little
ponies do.
Palomino. So you won't miss us, that's for sure.
Most ponies do. Well, Megan, good luck this year.
Thank you.
With everything that's happening. And we also have my friend Charlotte here. Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, Glenn.
Good to see you down in Wellington. Charlotte and I are good friends, and we see each other all the time in Ocala. Charlotte is the one that put Jennifer and I and our horses up during the hurricane. So we bunkered at their place and survived and didn't blow away. Yeah. Yep. So it was appreciated by all of us. So Charlotte, tell us about your horse.
My horse's name is Firewalker.
Which is a great name ever.
Yeah, he came from Germany with that name. I can't read anything on his passport, but I can read his name. He showed through third level before I got him. And he's great because, looking for a para horse, you want something that's trained, but something that can take a joke. And has the best head on his shoulders, and we go hacking all over the place. And
he's a little guy, right?
Yeah.
I was being sarcastic. How big is he?
He's a pony trapped in a horse's body. He's a hefty 17.2, 3.
Okay, so now we have to tell everybody Charlotte's in a wheelchair, paralyzed from
the waist down. So I'm a
down.
paraplegic in T12L1.
What the heck do you do? Take an elevator to get on him? What do you do?
There's mounting ramps that are built, but my dad actually built mine, and it
would have to be higher.
It's not ADA. It's quite high.
It would have to be to get on an almost 18 horse.
But that's, I knew almost right away that he was perfect because when I went to try him, I get in the back of a pickup truck and have someone bring the horse up. Because, when I go to barns, they don't have ramps. And that's what I'm doing down here in Wellington, too, is I get myself up into the bed of the pickup truck, put my chair in the truck, get back in my chair, and then have someone bring him up next to the truck. And he was like, okay, I got this.
And that's why Charlotte looks like a bodybuilder in the upper part. Yes, she does. So now, what challenges do you have? How do you stay in the saddle? Everybody wants to know that.
Well, as all the listeners know, riding is not about hanging on.
Right.
So it's heavily regulated by the FEI. So I have some dispensation aids. I have a solid bar on the front of my saddle, and then straps that go over my thighs. But they can only cross an inch by an inch, and then my feet are rubber banded into my stirrups, and my stirrups are tied to the girth. But it all is regulated so that it breaks if need
that was
be.
My question. Yeah.
And I've tried that once.
Yeah. Did it work?
And everything broke, and it all. Yeah.
Did you break?
Did you try that intentionally, or?
Of course not.
Charlotte is a bit of an daredevil, so that actually was a good question. And your accident actually came as a result of a four-wheeler, right?
Yes, I was a passenger on a four-wheeler.
Oh, I didn't know you were a passenger. Yeah. I thought
10 years ago.
I thought you were the crazy driver.
Nope.
No, okay. But you love skiing. You love doing all kinds of stuff.
Yes. Before I moved to Florida, I lived in Vermont, and I was vice president of the Northeast Disabled Athletic Association. And so I've done, I played hockey for a while, sled hockey. I Nordic skiing, cross country skiing, lots of swimming.
And marathons.
Oh, yeah. And hand cycling, tons of hand cycling. I've done 3 marathons on my hand cycle.
You are amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've heard of Claire Lomas in Britain.
Oh, yeah. I just read her book. Yeah.
She's incredible, too.
Yeah, that book was great. The exoskeleton, because she did for anyone that doesn't know, Claire Lomas was hurt as an event rider and then did the London Marathon in an exoskeleton.
In 10 days.
And yeah, which was incredible. Her book is great. Yeah. It's called Finding My Legs.
And she does the skiing too.
And now
she does motorbiking.
Oh, yeah.
It's daredevils.
Well, yeah, it's in the eventing blood,
And you were an eventer too, so that's...
I was an event rider for a living. I did it for a living, yeah.
Well, Charlotte, good luck this year.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at lunch in 2 weeks.
Yes. When we get ready for the cruise.
Yes. Yeah, Charlotte's going on the Horse Lovers Cruise with us, so we're
That'll
going
be
to have
too tame for you. I can't imagine you cruising.
We'll have fun. What did you say, though? The one port you want to do parasailing, so there you go.
Yeah, I want to do parasailing. Yep.
So it's not tame.
Well, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your support.
In the world of horse racing and elite equestrian sports, it's all about how to prepare and repair. IceVibe is a truly portable and highly efficient circulation therapy system for your horse. Before activity, prepare to prevent damage by using the IceVibe's vibration pads. Repair after the event by using the unique combination of cold packs and vibration to minimize swelling and encourage blood flow. And because it's battery powered, IceVibe is truly portable. The essential and affordable tool to prepare and repair. IceVibe.
You can find out more details about IceVibe at ice-vibe.com or horseware.com, or ask your local tack shop or online supplier for more information about IceVibe circulation therapy from Horseware. And next we had the pleasure of catching up with George Williams, president of the United States Dressage Federation.
So, George, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. You're here as president of the U.S. Dressage Federation, but also supporting your rider, Mary Jordan, who I think does a lot of para-dressage, but also a lot of able-bodied dressage. And I think that's a direction we're seeing a lot more of, and that's something you hope to bring a lot more of, a more crossover between able-bodied and para-dressage.
But first off, it's great to be here. Thank you. I think that it's, for us, the way we look at it, Mary works with me and also with my daughter and also with my wife, Roberta. So she really works with the whole Williams team. And our feeling is that it's some of it is making sure they have opportunities to compete, enough opportunities. Mary is at a level that's equivalent to our third level. So it works quite well for her to be able to switch in for the able-bodied and test, and also with the para test. So it's easy to go back and forth.
Is part of the goal, follow up on what you just said, is part of the goal having more para options at able-bodied shows, more para classes?
I think that we would like to see it go in that direction. Yes, definitely.
As opposed to going through all of the work it takes to do a separate show. It makes sense to do.
On a national level, yeah. I mean, I think on the FEI level, it would stay as
and one of the
it is,
disadvantages
but
of us having such a huge country too, is that where they can get away with that in smaller countries.
Yeah, and I think part of it is also making sure that the different show management on the national level are able to do it and are able to feel that they can put it on
and understand it.
Yeah. So I think that there's a way.
Is that
to
getting
go,
better
but
and easier, or more? Is there more understanding?
I think it's definitely moving in that direction.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Of course, as big supporters of para, we're happy to see that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I imagine, with the new head coach, with Michelle, everything's moving forward and going, how do you feel like US Para is going? Looking forward to WEG.
Well, I think it's definitely, I mean, I think it's definitely going in the right direction. I think having Michelle on, it seems to me, I'm watching a little bit more from the outside, but it certainly looks like it's in the right direction, and bringing in one of the best in the world at it and one of the most successful certainly is certainly going in the right direction. And I think ultimately, yes, exactly. Ultimately, I think it will pay off. Yeah. And it will end up having a very strong team. But I do think that the whole para in this country, anyway, the para is in the process of a major change. It's transforming and I think becoming more recognized and probably more internationally competitive.
We're going to be doing a fundraiser at Tryon in April at the test event in Tryon in preparation for the WAG for the para. And that's been one of the challenges. We haven't talked about that yet tonight. It's been one of the challenges for para is actually the funding. And it is for a lot of the disciplines, but I think for para too, we've seen it more, and that's why we try and help any way we can. How do you overcome that? What? Sponsorships, owners.
I say sponsorship. With the dressage, and I also am the coach national youth coach for dressage. We have an assistant youth coach as well, Charlotte Bridal, who works with me. We were very fortunate in that recently we just received a major sponsor to help us with our programs, but it's a constant battle. I think whether you're doing youth dressage, para dressage, the senior high performance, our teams trying to go for the WEG, the senior teams, we're all in sort of the same boat, looking for more sponsorship, more help. In dressage, we've been very fortunate, and our national coach, technical advisor Robert Dover, has been very active in helping us raise funds. But it's an ongoing problem. Yeah.
As the guy who sells the ads for the Horse Radio Network, I get it. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Mary, thank you so much for joining us. You are one of the old guard. You were back with us in 2010. Seems like forever ago, but welcome back and taking another shot at it for this September in Tryon.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for having me here with you this evening. This is a great opportunity.
You were on when we had no listeners back 10 years ago. Now we have some. So we're glad you came back. So Mary, tell us, what are you riding now?
I'm riding an absolutely huge horse, Rubicon 75, and learning things every day and just having a wonderful experience riding this horse.
How huge? I'm picking an elephant
18
now,
hands.
Oh, that's huge. Okay, that
and very leggy. Rubicon's really inspiring. He's, I think, making me a better athlete and a better rider. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's about.
And you were at the Nationals in Kentucky at the end of last year now, 2017, and you switched back and forth between able-bodied and para dressage. How easy is that to do, and is there any difference at all?
U.S. Finals was my second time, and I was the first para to actually ride in U.S. Finals in 2014 and 2017. But it was a great opportunity because in talking with my coaching team here at Williams Dressage, it was a goal that we set for ourselves. Like, could we go to U.S. Finals and compete well? And, many times in para, you go to these regional and national shows, and you may be the only rider in your class, and you might be in the last class of the day. And so, hooray, you get another blue ribbon. But, testing yourself is an important opportunity for growth. And when I've gone into these able-bodied classes, there are a lot of people in them, and you have to ride well and you have to compete well to rank. And, so that was an opportunity that I had to ride those tests and qualify. And then one thing led to another. And, we qualified. We rode in a group of over 20 riders at the U.S. Regional Championships out in Iowa. And that qualified us for U.S. Finals. So it was part of our development and seasoning and growth for the horse and myself. And I learned a ton on and off the horse in this process.
Well, we're looking forward to following you again this year.
Yes, we are. Thank you so much.
And I'm glad we're all still here, by the way.
Yes.
Well, we're going to close out this special episode we're doing here in Wellington with the Paras. We have Roberta Williams, who is on the U.S. Para Dressage Sport Committee, right?
Yes, correct.
And also we have Hope, who's president of all things para in the entire United States. We've known her for 1,000 years, it seems like. Yes, we have.
Yeah. Women with all the power.
That's right. That's right. So, Roberta, let's talk about you. What's the committee do?
Well, it's a multifaceted committee. It's a relatively new committee, and there are people that are from the old guard on it. I'm new guard. I'm new to the para world. My first introduction goes back to the 1990s when we did have a form of para dressage at the North American Young Riders Championships. But now I'm more involved in it because of Mary Jordan. And through my other committee work, I think they probably put me on this committee because I'm very good with rules and systems. So we are now...
It's why I'm not on any committees.
Well, I was a former chief steward and I was a TD.
Okay, there you go.
So at any rate, what the committee is now trying to do is, and I might be mistaken, but we're trying to make things more transparent. We're trying to make the selection procedures more in line with the able-bodied selection procedures. And these are all things that I've done in the past, especially through the young riders. Obviously, we're trying to field a team for the WEG, but we also need to be interested in the development of having more opportunities for more para riders across the country. And so that's also one of the things that we're trying to do. And then we need to pay attention to our U25 riders and how to bring them along, how to find them, how to bring them along, and how to develop this so that the sport continues to grow.
And there's a challenge that every single discipline, breed, association that we ever talk to is that U25 problem and challenge. It seems to be across the board.
Although it's up right now, isn't it? I think the USEF press release said it was just it's healthy and growing.
It is healthy and it is growing. I go back when dinosaurs did dressage and we didn't have any juniors at the North American Young Rider Championship, so we added that division. And as you know, that's been something that's been going for the NHAYRC has been about 30 years. And we realized that we needed then to, after they turned 21, we needed to still bring them along. And it was something that we've talked about for a long time. And now we can start developing those programs. You know, Europe is doing that. Yeah. And we actually started talking about U25 before U25 took off in Europe. We had it up to the age of 28. And that's why we decided to do the Brentina Cup. So this, with the para, will fall into some of that same ideology. I don't know if we'll call it Brentina Cup, but when Europe started calling it U25, we always have to sort of follow the same thing that the FEI mandates over there. So we went from 28 down to 25. And maybe, who knows, maybe we'll do U30 and U35. And as we get,
U55, I'll be in.
There you go.
Hope, since we started Horse Radio Network, you've been on.
I have.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of what Roberta just said, I am on the FEI Technical Committee in Lucerne, Switzerland, and I am also the chair of the new youth program. So we are developing a young U25 program. We have new tests that will be a pilot program this year that will bring out more riders and give more opportunities. So I'm really excited about that, and that's worldwide. So we're going to hear a lot more about this program. It's a pilot year. And then I expect in 2019, the FEI is talking about bringing back the Young Rider program for para, which will, I think it'll help the Young Rider program also, because there's been a little bit of, disconnect over the years trying to get these young people together in one location. And I think this will be a bonus for all of us.
Let's end this with, Samantha and I, and at the Horse Radio Network in general, have been following for 10 years now. And I think that we're probably more excited about the U.S. right now than we have been in the last 10 years. Are you?
I'm extremely excited. Over the last couple of years, we have grown, and just bringing on Michel Asseline, and his expertise, I think it's given us a rebirth and some more recognition that we are, high performance sport. And the challenge is, it's a big country, but I think we're slowly bringing it together, and his outreach and his methods are contagious, and it's given us a lot of hope to succeed. And I'm very excited to see what the future, especially going forward for 2020, Tokyo. I think it's very promising. We have some new horse rider combinations coming up, and the growth, every time we have a competition, we get more riders calling us and say, I want to be part of this. So that's very encouraging.
Well, thank you for all you've done over the years, too.
Thank you for helping us.
I don't think that we'd be here today if it wasn't for you and all of your efforts and your tireless work.
I don't know about that, but I mean,
yeah.
It's my pleasure and it's my passion, and I want to see us get back on that pony.